Biddly, biddly, biddly bo. Yes, yo. Here we go. Ain't nobody down round here. You know what time it is. Get that badger in and on and over here. We had to move back to get his greatness in. The clock watchers are in. The clout chasers over and in and on. And over here, we're going to go live tonight, boys, but I'm absolutely knackered, to be honest. So I just thought I'd jump on and do a pre-record. And I thought, well, I won't even do this. And I thought, no, come on. We are a river to our people over here. We've had us some ginger nuts. I've had a pot the tea in my Dumbo cup. So, you know, we've got to keep moving forward. Keep these videos flying in. Scrap the intros. The intro's a minute long. So, no, I will not. Please subscribe, like, and comment and do all them things. It helps the channel significantly. We try to get 6,000 before the start of the season, which I think is achievable. The fixtures are rumoured to be out, and there's some tricky initial games. I think Arsenal are in there, Man City are rumoured in there and stuff. So whether or not it's wolf talk or not, it looks a really difficult start. But obviously we do find out, I think tomorrow, I think it comes out if my memory serves me rightly. I want to talk briefly. There's an article come out here that I will share in a moment. I think it's quite a good article. People are talking about the Leeds United are looking to flying through Sky Sports all day that Leeds United are looking to improve the spine of the team, which I do think we need to be doing. People talking about Pascal being worried about his position and stuff because obviously we're looking likely that we're going to bring Be-all in, which is not the be-all and end-all, you know. But this is also what the players need ultimately. You know, Pascal Struik's a big lad. He understands the fact that, you know, if we go up this season, last season, when we go up, you know, all the positions are up for, you know, they're all in jeopardy, aren't they? You know, Tanaka was absolutely sensational last year, and I know I used Tanaka as the, I don't know, I hold him up to be the main man for some, well, not for some reason. He was excellent for us last year, but I'm just saying, even Tanaka's not safe. You know, I mean, we also, you know, we don't know that he can make the step up. I do believe he will. But my point is, there's not a single one of them. Ampadu's not safe. Tanaka's not safe. Dan James isn't safe. Bogle's not safe. The keeper's obviously not safe. So they are looking to improve the spine. Sky Sports never mentioned the number 10 role, which is slightly concerning, but they did mention Meslier, not directly, but they said the keeper, the centre-back, which we're looking like we've done with Be-all, centre-mid, which we're looking like we're going to sign this Habib Diarra potentially. There's apparently, depending on who you believe, that some bids gone in for him. And then we're looking at a number 9, which we have started work on, haven't we, with Nemecha that we spoke about yesterday, or day before, which obviously he isn't the answer to the 9 role, but we're looking to strengthen that, the spine of the side. So I thought I'd just share this with the alleged Dream 25 man squad, which I thought this was quite a good article, to be honest. So I just thought it was quite a fun read. So we've got a picture of Solomon there with his top off, which is lovely to see, isn't it? Leeds United owners know their first team squad needs major investment this summer, and if they want to avoid the drop, and cause to welcome their second signing, Be-all. The arrival of the Slovenian defender will bolster Daniel Farke's options at the heart of the defence. They've already signed on a free transfer Nemecha following his departure from Wolfsburg. Then a fit chick staring into the screen with some jewellery brands that brides can't stop talking about. We continue before. Shaping up to be a busy window for the Whites as they look to defy recent history and stay up following promotion from the Championship. Here, Leeds Live look at the best case 25-man Premier League squad could be, taking into account rules regarding homegrown players and under-21s who don't have to be accounted for in the main group. So goalkeepers here. It's got Nick Pope, Carl Darlow, and Alex Cairns. I think this is unbelievably unrealistic. I honestly don't think Carl Darlow will want to be the second goalkeeper. I think he'll be exploring his options, to be honest. I don't think we'll be able to get Nick Pope, but you know, they are going with the ideal 25-man squad. So I'm interested to know what you think to this in general. Leeds know they have to strengthen in the goalkeeping department this summer, and in an ideal world, they'll be able to sell Illan Meslier on for some much-needed transfer funds. The Frenchman has struggled in recent seasons with his poor form. Saw him dropped from the starting 11 with Carl Darlow coming into fold to get the Whites over the line. Farke's side were linked with a move for Kelleher, who, as we all know, is the best goalkeeper in the world that can't get in the first team, before his move to the Bees following Mark Flecken's move to Bayer Leverkusen. Leeds have to wait for some transfer dominoes of their own if they want to secure one of their targets. Well, we spoke about the keeping situation, haven't we, quite extensively, and I do think it's an interesting one because we do currently have 3 goalkeepers. So, we do have to, I do think we have to, get one out of the way, even if it's just Cairns for now, just see what's sort of happening with that. We'll probably want to keep Cairns on the basis that, as the 3rd goalkeeper, who else are you going to sort of have in there unless you just get a young lad in? Newcastle shot stopper Nick Pope has been repeatedly linked with a move to Ellen Road, and the Magpies' move for James Trafford will likely open the door for the former's departure. Pope would bring a wealth of experience between the sticks, having played a major part. He's been brilliant overall over his entire career, really, Nick Pope. But he has said that he wants to stay and fight for the Newcastle position, so we are going to have to move on from that, but, I'm up for it. Defenders, we've got Yaka Biol, which you're looking at, we're going to sign. Sam Byram, which I still don't think is a bad shout. Joe Rodon, Pascal Struijk, Jaden Bogle, Isaac Schmidt, and then Kostas Tsimikas, which, again, I cannot see happening. I said this from the very start. I can't imagine Tsimikas signing. I think he'll have plenty of options. Offloading the likes of Max Wobber this summer will add to the Leeds transfer pot and may pay for the aforementioned Biol arrival, or at least go somewhere towards funding it. Apparently, Biol, before signing, said he wanted to get his wedding out of the way, which I thought was pretty cool. I thought, my guy, big into his weddings, isn't he? But I agree, you get your wedding out of the way, mate, and then you get your sent on over, in and on and over here to get some work done. The Whites know they'll need to bring in a left-back at the very minimum following Junior Firpo's decision to rejoin Real Betis. Isaac Schmidt struggled for game time last season, and he'll likely play the understudy again. Tsimikas has been linked with the move to Ellen Road and will become first choice if he would. I mean, there's no doubt about that. He becomes first choice. It'd be interesting to see what happens with Isaac Schmidt, to be brutally honest, don't you think? How much game time he gets, I don't think he'll be one of the ones that are moved on. So, the Greek defender has plenty of experience at international and European level, not least in the Premier League, with plenty of appearances under his belt. Sam Byram hopefully agreeing new terms. The Whites will have plenty of room to add to their squad. The reason why I'm up for Sam Byram, genuinely, is I just don't think he's going to let you down in the Premier League. He's not going to be on mad wages. He knows his role. He'll understand that he's not necessarily the first player on the team. Well, he'll know that he's not nowhere near the first player on the team sheet. Seems like a proper good lad. He gets leads. I just think he's not going to kick a stink out. I think it's good stuff. So then we move into midfielders. Ethan Ampadu, obviously. Tanaka, Brendan Aronson, Ilya Gruev. Sean Longstaff's back in the fucking picture. And then this Habib Diarra. Midfield is probably the area that isn't a priority for the Whites this summer, but I disagree with that. I really do. The more I thought, before Rothwell went, and obviously got Gilavogi, that I'd have never wanted him anywhere near the side in Premier League, and everybody loves him. But, if you'd have had at the time Rothwell, Ampadu, Tanaka, Gruev, you felt quite strong there. But then as you start to get linked to names like Sean Longstaff and this Diarra guy, you do realise you could really get... There's a massive jump in from, and I think Gruev might do a decent job, to be honest. Again, in the defensive role, as long as he works hard and he can just break play up, we're not going to really be asking too much of these number 6s, really. I mean, I think Ampadu's got a lot more in his locker than Gruev, but, we're not asking... I don't think you're asking too much of them than just breaking the game up and being a bit of a shit house, really strong in there. Don't mess up. Don't give the ball away cheaply. Just stuff like that, retain the ball. But it still does need some additions. Sean Longstaff and Strasbourg midfielder Diarra are the 2 latest names tipped for a move. If we sign them 2, that would be a revelation, in my opinion. Having lost Joe Rothwell from the midfield, Farkas' side could do with some top-flight experience to bolster a relatively young engine room. Ethan Ampadu and Ayo Tanaka are 2 of the first names on the team sheet, but will need additions alongside them. Well, this is my point. What happened if we sign Longstaff? I'm not, Diarra, you could argue. But Longstaff, for me, no doubt walks straight into the side. He's a Premier League footballer. So what happens to the 2? This is where people are talking about, potentially like formation changes and stuff. So we'll see. Forwards, which means, anybody that plays forward. Jokes. Lucas Nemecha, we obviously got in. Good shout. Joel Peru, good shout. Daniel James, good shout. Willie Nonto, good shout. It's going to be a big season for Willie Nonto. I can't see him getting moved on. And there's not... He tends to get his grumblings doing... He tends to get his grumble on quite quickly, doesn't he, Willie Nonto, if he wants to get out at the door. we've not heard out. So that's one thing we're not hearing about anybody really, kicking off potentially a little bit of Joseph, whatever you want to believe from that, whether, a lot of people saying leave him alone and he was just sort of talking openly in the interview or whatever. I just think when you talk, you open yourself up to criticism, don't you? I do a little shit vid, I do shit YouTube channel. And, I open myself up to a lot of criticism. So it's just, shit is as shit does. You can remain silent. Nobody else is blabbing on, are they? But regardless, willing on to, it's a big season for him. It could potentially make or break his career. He goes from being a young lad and a prospect to, what are you doing if we're not getting somewhere with him? But, there's a lot of people give him stick for the season he had last season. I think he'll be good this year. I think we'll need him. And, whoever we bring in, I think he's an asset. He's willing on to, no doubt about that. Largi Ramazani, Patrick Bamford, which everybody will hate the sound of, Callum Wilson, Matteo Joseph, and Mana Solomon. Whether or not we can get Mana Solomon back, that to be honest, that doesn't blow me away. When they said that they wanted to get Nemecha in and then, Peru and potentially another, that's in the hope that Callum Wilson really, I'm thinking out loud now, but would he be man Nemecha really? Even though I think Callum Wilson's obviously a better footballer, it's just with his injuries and stuff. Do you want 4 in there? Because then it'd be Nemecha, Peru, Peral, Parisley, Wilson. If we're keeping Bamford, then you're bringing another in. That's 5 centre forwards. That is too many, isn't it? Particularly with Matteo Joseph still on this list, which I do think he'll get a move away, to be honest, whether it's on loan or permanent. I would take Mana Solomon back, but I'm not too worried about wingers. I think the 10 a penny, I've said this forever, but I think the much of a muchness, and that's not to disrespect the wingers, but I think it's hard to get the elite ones, but I think that most wingers at this standard can do your job. To what level obviously is different. There's a difference between Mana Solomon and Rafinha, isn't there? And, I don't know. A lot of them can get a big move having had one decent season. Some of them absolutely ripped it up last year for us, the year before last for us, and then went to West Ham and I wouldn't say he's struggled, but it's the step up that makes it difficult. West Ham play a different type of ways. An argument to say could have done with another season with us, come up with us being our main man. But were we stronger without him last year? Obviously, it seems like a silly thing to say on the basis that he got shit ton of goals and stuff. How can you be stronger without that type of goal scorer? But we've got plenty of goals. Everybody chipped in. Don't know. It's an interesting one. What are your thoughts on that? Though Leeds are expected to invest heavily into their forward line this summer, the names who have been linked with an Ellen Road move have been largely free transfers. Nemecha's arrival ticks off another homegrown box, having come through the ranks at Manchester City and had loan spells with Middlesbrough and Preston earlier in his career. If Leeds are able to make Mana Solomon's move to Ellen Road a permanent one in the weeks ahead, that will considerably bolster their options out on the left. Though Thomas Frank reportedly wants to take a closer look at the Israeli international, which we spoke about. Callum Wilson's future at Newcastle United is still yet to be decided. After an offer on new terms, the Leeds could swoop in, take a gamble on him, which I would be up for. But now we've got Nemecha in the door, as I say, I'm not sure that milking it a little bit. I don't know. Dan James was one of the standout performers for Leeds last season. Dan James will be good next year. We're going to be up against it a little bit for quite large portions of the game, of many games. And Dan James can do both. He can get back, he can work hard, he can get forward. He's brilliant on counter. He's rapid, as we know. His final ball's improved. His goal scoring's improved tenfold. So while the likes of Willian Onto and Largi Ramazani will have a point to prove in the top flight, Largi Ramazani certainly does. Willian Onto has at least shown glimpses. That's me, not the article. There are 24 names listed, leaving room for a further addition, but there's also room for a number of youngsters to break into the fold, and any new arrivals under the age of 21 would also not needed to be listed within the 25-man squad. Hey, up my cat's here. Come on, love. Come on, love. What an entrance. Thank you for that. What an entrance. I'm hoping the video is still alive and well. So, yeah, what are your thoughts on the 25-man squad? It's slightly underwhelming, but, if you're bringing in, I do think they are a brilliant signing. Longstaff's a good sign. It's just when we got to them forwards, then it got a bit like, but we are quite strong in out wide, really, with James, Ramazani, Nonto. So, it'd be an interesting. I do think we need to bring a winger in. Really, as obvious as it sounds, we need to bring somebody in each position, don't we? That we need to bolster this squad. That's why Nemecha I thought was a good signing. Also, I just want to mention my man Howard Wilkinson is getting a statue outside Ellen Road, which I think is absolutely mint. And the reason why I want to mention this is because I actually said on the Underlap a couple of months ago that he's underrated for me. He doesn't get the plaudits that I think he deserves. And I got pelters for saying that because a lot of the older guys that support the club, and I don't mean older in a negative fashion, I just mean people that sort of lived more through that era. I was tiny when Howard Wilkinson were about, but everybody in my family speaks well of him and stuff, and that he set up the foundations for us. I'm glad, to be honest, that he's got some sort of an onyx. I just think he's slightly forgotten in the grand scheme. He did set the foundations. Everybody tells me that he sets the foundation. Obviously, we got promoted with him and stuff, and he was really stable. Apparently, a little bit boring football, but that doesn't matter, does it? If you're setting the foundations, that's what we're hoping Farker does. Go up with us. A little bit of boring football, but sets the foundation potentially for somebody's coming and take us on to that next level. And I've got to just give a shout out to Chrissy Wilder because he's getting the sack. Get up.
Boom.